Hey guys, it's me Shane. I'm here to give you another Yashahime Princess Half Demon episode review and recap. Today's episode is episode 22, The Stolen Seal. If you remember last week, it was an issue of Rikumaru wanting to get all the pearls and rainbow pearls, and for some reason, Toei gave him hers after we got a glimpse of the past. Looking at the future, Totetsu is now Totetsu dead, and yeah. I'm ready to get into this one. I got some notes here. Got a nice little haircut. It's time for us to roll. So, we are quickly greeted with a I got some extra notes. I did some research before I went into this. I got some extra stuff to tell you. But before I tell you, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Please. I'm trying to get to 100 subs by the end of March, and it will really help me out on this journey that I am making. Thank you. Anyway, we are quickly greeted to the past with Kirimaru and the Great Dog Demon getting ready to take on the Grim Comet. By the way, some people had remarked that the Great Dog Demon's name was Toga. Actually, that's not his official name. That was the name that Rumiko was going to go with because he is introduced to us in the third Inuyasha movie. But they chose to not go with that name because it might confuse fans. Because, essentially, if his name is actually Toga, Tessaiga, Tenseiga, and Bakuseiga are technically all named after him because his name is Fang. But he is known as, what is this? I wrote this down. Inu no Tensho, which is Great Dog Demon or Great Dog General. Great Dog Demon General. So technically he doesn't have an official name. That's his unofficial name. Take what you will. But he does the Medito Sengetsu. The same move that Inuyasha used when the Grim Comet showed up and him and his brother had to take care of it. Kirimaru easily destroys the comet, but all the demons underneath got sucked into that black warp. And as they watch the Grim Comet recede, Kirimaru is sleeping while our great dog demon general guy is watching, and Zero comes up behind him and she says, you guys did a great job. Thank you for assisting. And he's very modest in his words. He's saying, he did most of the work. And Zero, she ponders on how long this will all last, like having to keep on doing this every 100 years, right? And Inuyasha's father, Setsuna, the great dog demon, says flat out, I don't know if this is going to be a thing that happens forever, but no matter what happens, I want Zero, I want you to remain you. And then he runs off, does a really cool howling thing as the moon is right behind him, just and that's how we are greeted with the past. Meanwhile, Miroku, the cool Miroku, is still training, under the waterfall and doing all that great stuff so he can get stronger. And Zero appears in front of him, gives him a fake name, the name of Ototsu. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote this down. Give me 1 second, folks. Oh, Otsuyu, which I don't know why some villains give these fake names because she reveals her name to everyone later. But Otsuyu, and she, she's saying, I'm kind of on the wrong path, and he's saying, okay, well, who are you? How can I help you? And she ends up repeating the same word incantation that he uses when sealing Setsuna. So he's quickly on guard. He's like, no, seriously, who are you? You don't have demon energy, but you're not human and you're not an apparition. And she has this staff that has the spider design on it. And essentially she's saying, I want that seal that you use on the half demon girl. He's like, on Setsuna? Like, no. She's like, alright, we'll do it by force. She does her little staff thing, which sends out a giant, it's a Tsuchigumo, which is a spider demon. Yu-Gi-Oh fans probably remember that card, but Tsuchigumo silk covers Miroku. He quickly identifies it, and he's stuck. He's he's cursing his own weak-mindedness, and I can't get the tone, but I can't tell if Zero's being sincere when she says, "Oh, you're training hard, but it is what it is, right?" But that's literally what she says. She's even remarking on how hard he's training. And there was a joke in between them when he was trying to find out who she really was. And she says, I'm just a devilish woman. And he gets a sweat drop. And he's like, I know exactly what's gonna happen to me if I say that to uh, to Sango. So I'm gonna ask you again what your real name is. Uh, so funny. So in the middle, I'm going through very well with this. So obviously she's getting his seal. I guess getting the ability from his seal powers or whatever. I don't know how that works, but I can believe it. And meanwhile, we have Toa and Setsuna. They're on their way to the corpse dealer Jubei, and Moroha's walking past with a giant, looks like a giant tub used for washing. But she came by. She's like, "Oh, what are you guys coming by for? I already gave you your half of the bounty." And Setsuna says what Jubei says. He's gonna show me to a bladesmith because my blade's gotten kind of dull. It needs to be sharpened. And while Moroha's trying to look over it, Satsuna's like, hey, you don't need to look at it. She says, honest, actually, it pulls out a soapstone. It's actually me. I'm the best bladesmith here all around in the village, period. So let me take a look at your blade. And as we are left to whatever devices they're going to go through, we have the ship of Kiramaru, and he's looks like he's just reading. Dude's just chilling. And I noticed on the side of his face, the side, I believe it is the right half of his face that's always covered. Looks like there's some scaling on there. And Zero appears before him. She asks if he asks. I think she asks if she's confident that he will be able to beat Shishomaru's daughters. And he says, honestly, they could barely entertain me, let alone fulfill any kind of prophecy. And she's like, so, she's saying, you don't really get it all. I'm gonna go for a walk. And he says, sister. And she's like, don't you sister me, right? She basically asks, do you even know that their demon power has been sealed? And he's like, yeah, I do, actually. And he's thinking of Moroha. They have his blood in them, and they have yet to master it. Give them time to grow up and get stronger, because he really, 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 he has some type of honor when wanting to kill and defeat an opponent when they are at their fullest. It looks like this guy doesn't go for cheap wins, unlike Naraku. Anyway, uh, she knows that he's mentioning Moroha. She says not the quarter demon. I'm talking about the half demons because he had been rubbing the mark that Toa, I believe, had put on his cheek from before. And she says, I'm pretty sure once their full power is unleashed, not even you can get away with just a scratch. And he's like, and you're confident in that. And she says, well, I'm going to find out on my walk. Hey, boy. Boy, oh boy. So meanwhile, Moroha is trying her best to sharpen the Naginata. And Sasuke's like, do you even know what you're doing? She's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. It's not working. Why is it not working? And we get a funny bit of Moroha going, I'm the best bladesmith in this whole village, period. You're not going to find anybody better than me. Well, the problem is that you're getting stronger, Setsuna, and your demon power is probably leaking out, and your poison is making the blade get kind of dull. And she's like, maybe I should go see Monk Miroku. And she's like, yeah, you do that instead of questioning my skills. And she's like, oh no, you probably still suck, but I need to still see him. And we get the funny Moroha gives the it was basically Inuyasha and Sesshomaru. She gives the expression while she's obviously they do the dark lines to show that there is some emotion coming from her, but her face is still very stoic. And it's so funny because Moroha's like, the only thing cute about you is your face, and it just have Toa just going good grief. That was really really funny. Didn't miss anything. Goodness. So while they're in the village, while they're in town looking for someone, Moroha, you know, griping about the fact that they're even there because they're not going to find anybody better than her. We get a moment of. I'll answer that later. We get a moment of Zero is behind Toa, and while Zero offers her an apple or some crap, she ends up locking Toa in this, I guess, a genjutsu, some type of illusion, where Toa feels like they're frozen in snowy mountains, and she's able to easily trick her and say, "Hey, I'm in here with you," you know, let's make a promise and get through this together. And when they lock pinkies, Toa's eyes go dull, and Zero goes, "Yeah, it's a good job that Riku got her pearl because now she's easily under my influence." And the girls are like, "Hey, come on, Toa, what's going on?" Because they're several feet apart, and Setsuna recognizes Zero's eyes. She's like, "I know those eyes from somewhere," and they're like, "Are you okay?" And she's slowly turning like, "I don't think I'm all right." And she starts walking towards them. She walks past Moroha, and when she gets to Setsuna, she grabs her arm. She grabs that sealing arm, and she's saying, "What are you doing? Stop it!" She's like, "I really not in control of myself." And Moroha's like, "What the heck? What did you do?" And she said, "Yeah, I got her under my control. By the way, you can kill me if you want to. But if you kill me, you're gonna kill her because we're linked." And Moroha can't really make a move because obviously she doesn't want to kill her cousin, right? And we get in the back of her mind. Uh, Zero's like, "Yeah, uh, she won't be the only person that dies." And we see Ren in the tree, so it is obvious that when either Ren had left, uh, I can't remember, I can't remember the old lady's name. Oh man, but when she left that village, I think she might have been under some type of dream spell, and then she was again somehow tricked, put into a deep slumber. In my research, I found that Shishomaru actually went to save Ren a long time ago. It was a kind of a training type of thing with his mother, who is still alive. Mother's still alive, and apparently she's not all that evil. Just doesn't really care for humans all that much, but tolerates them. I really need to catch up on Inuyasha because she's an interesting character. Also with no name. Really thought he had fought his mother. I think that might have been some weird filler from the first season of Inuyasha. But I digress. Apparently, she has Ren under some type of linking spell, which is really messed up. So she goes, she does the whole thing, gets the seal off of Setsuna, and Setsuna she rips off her sleeve. Her demon powers are coming on. The markings of the Great Dog Demon Clan are coming over her body and her face, and her green auras is rising. Her eyes are bloodshot red, and she's still in control. She's like, "I know who the person is. I know you had some. Those are eyes I recognize from when we were asleep when we were younger, right before the fire. I remember those looking at me, and this is all your fault." She's like, "Oh, okay, well, okay." She still has some of her wits about her, and Moroha is like, "Man, if you didn't have Toa, I'd get you because every move that she's making, Toa's doing the same thing like a puppet." And she severs the tie, which was I guess with some type of demon spider Tsuchigumo silk. She just kind of cuts, she severs the tie, and she's in the air. And not more, but Sassuna's trying to keep it together. And Takashio lands beside her and says, "Hey, what's going on?" She's like, "Get the heck away from me." He's like, "Oh." And right before she had released Toa, when they're like, "Who are you?" She says, "Oh, you know, Otsuyu is actually that is my fake name. My name is actually Zero. I'm the older sister of Kirin Maru." Just wow. It didn't take long. I wouldn't even give him a name if that was the point. But anyway, uh, yeah, she's in the air. Moroha does her Crimson Dragon Wave. She's like, this lacks spirit. He's easily deflects it into the sky. She says that dragon won't listen to you and rather be in the clouds. Moroha does her Heavenly Arrow Scatter. She's like, "Yeah, your spirit is scattered. Use the spider silk to absorb all the arrows." Toa is ready to face Setsuna, and by this point, Zero just flies off. And the overall plan from Setsuna is to try to absorb some of that demon energy from her sister. Uh, Moroha had to save Takachio because while he was trying to float away, Setsuna was going to slice him, and she deflected. Toa deflected, so they came up with this plan. Meanwhile, while Miroku is still stuck on the ground, his other twin daughter, King Un, she has she's shown up. she's showing up and she's laughing at her father. And he's like, so you know what's going on? She's like, yeah. And he's like, hurry up because Setsuna's in danger. Meanwhile, Setsuna's being held off by Moroha with light arrows trying to keep her at bay. While Toa gets up and she's trying to drain this energy. She's like, please just let me try to drain this. And by this time all the visuals have left. So when Setsuna's going crazy using kind of like the same thing her father is able to do with that little whip. She has a little poison whip from her claws and fingertips. People are gone, so no one's hurt but her family. Uh, Meanwhile, while she's trying to absorb this energy, another dark line comes across Setsuna's arm, and her armor cracks. She's already ripped off both sleeves, and we get these butterfly wings that come out. She's flying off, and Toa has already said, okay, excuse me. She says later on that those wings and that energy is the same as a dream butterfly. It's just kind of she's remarking on it. Can't really put two and two together. I have an idea myself. Meanwhile, lost my train of thought. Meanwhile, Moroha says, "I'm gonna have to go Inuyasha because this." She's like I was when I first used that, so that's the only way I can catch up. Does the rouge? Now she's fast. Setsuna's already in some type of cavern mountain area, and we have Moroha wall running, trying to catch up with her, and they're doing mid-air clashes. Meanwhile, Hisu and his older sister comes in riding on Kirara, and Toa thinks it's the other one, Gyokso. She says, "No, I'm actually her older sister, so she's the oldest of the twins, but she's the oldest out of all the children." And they're like, okay, so we heard Sasuna's in trouble, just like my father said. Hisu asks, can his sister really steal her? And she's like, yeah, everything I learned from dad, I'm pretty sure I can do it. I have faith in my abilities. Problem is, she needs to be still for me to do this. Last time Shiryo was able to hold her and calm her, but we need someone else to do it. Toa says, I'm the older sister, I'll go and do it. And we get a really funny line where Hisu says, man, she's really brave, unlike other big sisters I know. And Kyu just tells him, shut up, don't you dare say that, Hisu. Which I enjoy the moments of levity when they actually fit. Like, the moments of levity between these characters and family members is really, really funny. So Sasuke's kicking Moroha's butt, because just like Toa said, Moroha can't hang on much longer. She gets kicked into the side of the mountain. Sasuna's ready to go for the kill shot, and Moroha more or less, she says, "Man, Sasuna's too strong," and just faints. Before she can do the killing blow, Toa gets her from the back, Goku on Raditz anime style, and is holding her. Somehow Setsuna can make those little poison whips just go behind her. So Toa's taking damage while trying to calm her down. And within the mind space of Setsuna, she's, kind of sitting, hugging her knees to her chest, and she can hear her sister's voice calling her, and it's a light in the distance, and she's making her way there. And as she's making her way, we get a gold light and a silver light, and they converge, and her eyes go to normal, but they're both worn, so they're both kind of slumped down. And she was able to bring her back from that dark place, kind of like what Kagome did with Inuyasha when he first went berserk. And that moment, I not to compare, but I have to compare. I have to say I liked the Inuyasha one. Had way more weight to it because he completely murdered the demon that was later used to make that evil sword that Shishomaru used. But he completely killed a villain that they couldn't kill regularly and was just going on a rampage. That moment had a lot of weight, but I enjoyed this moment as well because it showed that the progression over these 22 episodes, that they have definitely grown close enough for Setsuna to care about hearing her voice. Kiyun is able to do the seal, does the sealing thing with the Naginata. And with that, Takashi is kind of taking care of Moroha with the towel over her head. So that takes a lot out of her. And Setsuna vows to get revenge on Zero. Like, I'm going to pay you back 100-fold. While the dark markings have gone, there's still a bloodline from when the butterfly energy came off of her. And we get a shot. Our last shot is at some burnt temple. Might be the burnt home of the great dog demon. and she's saying things are almost set, my lord. All I gotta do is just worry about the other half demon girl. And Riku comes out of the shadows beside her. But in the real world, the Grim Comet is in the sky, and we see Toa's teacher. His name is Osuma Kirin. And he says, wow, the Grim Comet even comes during this era too. Oh, hey, aren't you Shota Higurashi? That's where our episode ends. Funny enough, I did forget to mention, Toa was reflecting on the hug that she got from Riku at the very beginning of the episode. She's like, it's not the same like when I hugged Papa Shota. So for him to show up at the end of this episode, and the fact that if Osuma Kirin is another incarnation or another family member of Kirimaru, and he happens to just last it throughout all of time, that's a big plot hole from Inuyasha, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure they'll probably go into his backstory because this next episode, they are getting revenge on Zero. I think Zero actually might die in this because Riku is helping her. We see Miroku, we see Miroku's daughters, we see Hisu. The princesses. They're getting their revenge. It's gonna be a big battle. Pretty excited for it, and I gotta say, I've been harsh, and I won't say harsh, but I've been hard on this anime because I expected a lot. I was hoping it wouldn't be a Boruto to Naruto thing, and it was kind of looking that way. The last episode was decent. I love seeing the past, and I love it when they show us how the past really does matter when it's affecting the present and people's motivations and actions. Kind of why Zero is not the same person that the Great Dog Demon knew. Her grief, kind of like WandaVision, her grief has caused her to lose herself. Now Riku wants that back, but Riku's going to willing to do anything she wants in the meantime, and it's almost as if she is using what happened to her advantage. Her losing her demon presence and her demon power. She still has abilities, but she's using that to further the goals of making sure her brother doesn't die, avenging the wrongful death of the great dog demon. It's really kind of strange. Also with my research, if Shishomaru's mom is still alive, I gotta say Inuyasha's pretty real when it comes to interpersonal relationships. Because I don't know if any other people can identify with this with their family, but sometimes grandparents or people's parents or uncles or things, sometimes they're with one person and just things happen, they end up with someone else. The fact that Shomaru's mother doesn't harbor any hate towards the great dog demon, or the fact that she doesn't have a blood feud against humans speaks to how good of a character she is. Because when I looked it up, it said she's actually good natured, which with further research kind of shows that she is. She's one of the few characters apparently that will read Shishomaru and tell him when he's either being too prideful or not focusing, and I love that. So when it comes to Zero just seems like another. She's not a jilted lover, but she's a person that's dealing with a demon, a person, individual that's dealing with grief in a very different way. Uh, Comedy was on point in this episode. The animation did not falter. I actually really enjoyed this. This is actually one of the better episodes. I gotta give this a 4.5. We're getting we're getting even closer to. I think the Miroku episode I gave a 5, which for some reason a lot of people weren't feeling that. Maybe it's because we took a break the week before, but this is actually really good. Last week's was pretty decent. If it's going in the direction I think it's going, I cannot wait. I really hope that Moroha gets some kind of training. Your dad, your dad was the titular character of the last season. I get that this is all about the twins because fans love Shishomaru, so we're gonna make it about his kids. But hey, please do something with Moroha. Let her go back to Koga for more training so she can control her powers. So he'd be able to tell her, hey, this is stuff I heard about what your dad did. And actually, a thing that I missed was when Setsuna's powers were going overload. Shishomaru, by the great tree of ages, was able to feel and says, she still can't control her blood because the wind had changed. And Totosai, the guy who made the swords, he's hammering. He's like, oh, the great blood battle and great blood training has begun. We're gonna probably see Totosai show up, and he's probably gonna fashion something with that Naginata to to deal with the fact she's getting stronger. It's just like Inuyasha got stronger, and he had to graduate from using his father's fang to using his own fang and bear the weight of that power. Probably the same thing's gonna happen to her. So, guys, 4.5 out of 5. Tell me what you thought of the episode down below in the comment section below. Please remember to not only like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, get notified more videos like this. We do this every Saturday, and I'm happy to see you, and I'm happy if you're happy to see me. Please remember to share the video so others can see what's going on here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. So be good, be blessed. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Please don't be a jerk. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Black Lives Matter, and I will definitely see you next time.